I'm Nick Speer. This is your one-stop shop for all things EKU sports. We're a little bit different this episode. We're on Zoom while we get some things situated in our podcast studio. Like I said, I'm Nick Speer.
I'm Jenna Evans.
I'm Joey Aguirre. And I'm Caleb Wells.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Not the way you usually welcome back to semester we're on Zoom, but that's okay. Everyone kind of remembers COVID. So first things first will be men's basketball. They just had a huge win last night over in down in Tennessee against Lipscomb. Caleb, what's kind of your thoughts? I know we talked about before you had their stats pulled up. Looking at the box score, what was kind of your first thoughts on men's basketball last night?
Yeah, first thing that really leaps out to me is the fact that we scored 80 points. I know that doesn't sound like a ton to a lot of people, but if you know your ASUN basketball, you know your teams, know your research. Lipscomb's only allowing an average of 65 points a game. So we were 15 points over their average. They've played very tough defense all season long. And so the fact that we scored 80 points, very impressive from our guys, as well as their best player was held to, he's averaging 12 points a game on the season, and he was held to 2 points last night. So not only good offense from Hamilton and the Colonels, but good defense as well. Large part due to Montavious Myrick played great down in the paint. We outscored them in the paint, which is huge considering we're talking about Lipscomb. They were a very paint-dominant team, have been for the last 4 or 5 years. And then George Kimball, he's just an absolute nuisance up at the top of the key on defense. And then as far as the scoring goes, Blanton and Turner Buttrey really led the way, just the vets doing what they know how to do.
Yeah. And I kind of think, too, looking at the box score here, we kind of talked about before, missing Isaiah Cozart's paint presence. But, I mean, Myrick and Blanton combining for 10 rebounds each. And then Jackson Holt even contributing 5 and then 4 and then 2. It was a really kind of by committee thing last night. So it was really impressive. And then, Will Pruitt, I think that's his name, correct?
Yes, Pruitt, yes.
Only scored 2 points. And then so it was just all around a cohesive effort. And then I'm really proud of Meyer Wool a lot. I know he came from College of Charleston along with Jordan Crawford. He kind of struggled a little bit the past few games. I know Stetson, Bellarmine, and Austin P only had 2, 4, and 6, but FGCU this past Saturday, 18 points, and then scoring at again 11 points against Lipscomb. So I'm really proud of him and the way that he's kind of started to come along this year. So
his shots were very timely as well. The box score won't read the stat sheet in the box score. They're not going to read how important his shots were, but I believe it was 5 out of his 11, maybe 6 out of his 11 came in the last minute of the game. So
I was thinking FGC, that was huge.
Yeah,
he had that 3-pointer with 1 minute to go that kind of really put the game away. And then
last night against Lipscomb, when the Colonels were up by 13 or 11 points, something like that, and then Lipscomb stormed right back and tied the game up, and then it was Wool's 3 that put us back in the lead and kind of set the tone for the last 10 minutes of the game. So
absolutely,
he's making very timely shots, very important shots.
Absolutely. And then swinging it towards Jenny here, you've kind of been at a lot of the games this year back in Alumni Coliseum. How have the environments really been lately for the basketball team?
Well, Alumni just got, they're not finished, but the brand new court, I have noticed that down on the court, they've had some issues with their shoes. And we just got new mats, I guess, that they're going to try to use. But the floor has been getting wet from water from back underneath because underneath is still completely torn to pieces. And I actually, I heard one of the guys say that they feel like that this new floor, they missed the old one. And I was like, whoa. Playing on a brand new floor, I feel like you'd be exciting for that. But the fan environment has been surprisingly, or I was surprised at the first turnout, even though alumni isn't completely finished, there was a lot of people there. And I feel like there was more this year than there has been in previous years, especially in student out or student attendance. I feel like the student section has been almost completely packed, if not packed, at every single game we've had so far, which is just awesome because that just brings the team and the energy up so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of touching back on like the amenities and stuff. I'm so happy they kept like the roof because it makes it sound so much like we'll have about a couple thousand people here at a game and it just makes it sound so much more loud in the arena. So I'm really happy with that as well. And then just the new video boards and the new VIP area and Colonel's Club, I think it really just adds to the fan experience of it all. So, any other thoughts on men's basketball, guys? If not, we'll move towards Joey. What do you have for esports right now?
So I don't have much on everyone else just because I can't see what their actual stats are from the Discord I'm in. However, I am on a team for Team Fight Tactics, which is the best way people describe it is like auto chess. So you choose champions and you put them down on a board and you fight another person's board of champions.
Oh, wow.
And so obviously your goal is to get first place. I got fourth in my first game and then sixth in my second game. And the second game was just difficult because everyone was going for the same thing. And the champions are chosen from a pool. So there's very limited amounts of those champions. And when everyone's going for the same build, you could say, same synergies, it messes up everything for everyone because there's people competing for that trait. I'm currently 18th place out of 30, which I'm happy with. I mean, it's my first time playing this competitively, so.
What are kind of some of the struggles that you've had so far?
Well, the one I just said where the traits and trying to make sure you don't overlap with too many people is probably one of the biggest struggles because of that shared pool. I mean, it can really screw you over when you you have something going for you and then you realize, oh, 5 other people are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is just not getting the right items for the team you have built up. And because items give your teams huge benefits that can really be game changing. And if you don't get the 80 items when you have melee team or magic items when you have a spell casting team, your team won't be able to do the damage they need to.
Yeah. Makes sense. So, all right, well, thank you, Joey. So now kind of moving towards women's basketball. You got another win last night. It was really, really important kind of game here. We have a record of 14-8 on the year so far, 4-5 in the ASUN Conference. Alicia Riccanati dropped 20 points last night. Caitlin Costner had 6 rebounds, and she also led the way with assists as well. Kind of on a slump here. They started at the year 12-5, had that win against North Alabama, and then lost 3 out of 4 with the win against Bellarmine. Caleb, as we know, FGCU just kind of runs the table with ASUN women's basketball. I think they've won it tons of times in a row. What are your kind of thoughts on trying to break that mold into the upper echelon of the ASUN Women's Basketball Conference?
Yeah, definitely going to be hard to do. It's a very competitive ASUN women's basketball scope you're kind of looking at. Um, I feel like when it comes to trying to break the mold or like break yourself into the top few teams, I feel like it's got to come through like chemistry or through play calling, something kind of outside of yourself. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like you're just not going to be able to win by pure talent and talent alone. Because I feel like just about every ASUN women's basketball team has talent. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all fairly deep, have talented girls on the team. And not that EKU doesn't. EKU is definitely one of those teams. It's just the fact that I don't know that we have the ability to win off talent alone. So I feel like, you know, you almost have to get in a rhythm, have to play good team basketball with Coach Todd calling great plays. And I think that's going to be what's going to break the mold. I would also say like having like surprises is always a good thing, and extra bonuses. I think the big one for me is Liz Freihofer. She's been absolutely insane for the team as a freshman, averaging 11 points a game, 4.5 assists. I'm sorry, 4.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and then 1 steal a game. That's just really, really big stats, really big, important minutes from a true freshman. So she's been definitely a good surprise. They need to keep leaning into her as an addition to Riccinati and Costner and McGinnis Taylor.
Yeah. And with Caitlin Costner, she averaged double figures, 13 points a game, 3.3 assists. EKU has the 4th overall best record in the ASUN for women's basketball, but we're stuck in this middle pack here, looking at the standings in the ASUN. It's FGCU with 9-0 record conference, and then UCA, Central Arkansas 8-1, and then Lipscomb 6-3, and then Austin P, North Alabama, Bellarmine, Stetson all have 5-4 records, and then us and Jacksonville sitting there at 4-5 in the ASUN, even though we have the 4th overall best record. So I think we can make the ASUN tournament for sure. It's just cracking it against UCA and FGCU. There's some really, really important games for the Colonels coming down the road here, home against North Florida, who's last in the ASUN, and Stetson. And then FGCU comes to town Saturday, February 8th at 2 p.m. So AKU needs to make sure that they pack that out. And then on 4-game road against Queens, Bellarmine, UNF, and Jacksonville, then finishing up against Central Arkansas and Lipscomb. So 3 of the top 4 teams are coming here to AAC. So the students need to make sure that they pack that out for them. And those are some really important home games. And I think on our home court, where we do play so well, we can make some noise for sure. So, yeah, absolutely. Jenna, I know you kind of been in a lot of the games and stuff like that. What are you kind of seeing from the women's basketball team here? We do play so well at home. What do you kind of think that is as an athlete? What kind of drives that motivation to play so well at home?
I think like being down on the floor, you can see everything so much better. And I'm out right now. So I'm sitting right behind the bench, and I can hear everything and I can see everything. And I think one thing our women's basketball team does so well is communicating with each other during timeouts and while they're on the floor. And that's huge. Like everyone has to be on the same page. Everyone has to know what's going on. And I think we have 3 fifth-year seniors right now, and all of them are getting lots of playing time. And I think all 3 of them are leading on the court and leading on the bench and communicating with their teammates to make sure that everyone knows exactly what's going on really, really well. And you can tell that when you're down there. You can hear the communication, and you can hear them building each other up during the game. And that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really think too, we do play so well at home, it's just comfortability as well. And it's just really hard to travel in college athletics. And we talked about that before, but it is super hard play on the road. So absolutely. But I think if we can continue being at home and winning at home, we can make a pretty deep run in the ASUN tournament. So for sure. Kind of swinging towards this weekend. I know it's a doubleheader. We're going to go into some predictions here. Home against, for the women, last place UNF and the ASUN and the men. We just had a high scoring affair. Now we're talking about scoring in the ASUN. The men do face off against Austin P, who we lost in overtime on their home court some games ago. So we'll kind of move into some predictions here. Expecting a high scoring affair all around. So we'll start with you, Caleb. What are your kind of predictions for the doubleheader this weekend for basketball?
Yeah, for the Austin P game here at home for men's basketball, yeah, they got us on their home court. It was a close game. Had to go into overtime to finish the game. I expect something similar, but I'm expecting us to take it on our home court. I'm still expecting, a score somewhere in the 90s. Very high scoring affair. But yeah, I look to see Blanton, Buttrey, and Kimball just really attacking the basket, playing high up-tempo basketball like Hamilton always wants to. And then want to see Myrick just continue to rip down those rebounds. He's doing amazing considering we don't have necessarily a true center. I think he's technically listed at a forward and he's playing at the 5. So I just want to continue to see him being aggressive. And then for women's basketball, I look to see another W again. UNF is the last in the ASUN conference. So I want to see us play against them like they are with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just refuse to let Tate McCubbin score 38 points on us again. The guard for Austin P. He averages 9 points a game. We just cannot let him go on a heater. He has a high volume percentage. He shoots 43% from the field goal and 38% from the 3. But we have got to lock him down. He's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to try and take over our court, but I just don't think AW and George Kimball and Devontae Blanton and Turner Buttrey let that happen again.
What do you think is the best approach? What do you think is the best approach to keep that from happening?
Yeah, he jacked up 23 shots on us, 15 threes. He was 9 of 15 from the 3. It's hard to shoot like that again. But he also had 3 steals. So I really expect him for Austin P to come in here with a chip on his shoulder, try and take over. We have loud crowds. I expected to feel him. And Meyer Walt only had 2 points against Austin P. I think with him being on a heater recently, him getting his confidence under his feet, getting used to A.W. Hamilton's system, I expect him to score a little more as well. So I expect to win. I expect EK to come on mad. They've won 3 out of 4, beating 2 teams out of the top in the ASUN conference. So for the women, I expect a pretty dominant performance. UNF is last in the ASUN. They're 4-18, 0-9 in ASUN play. We're trying to get up into the upper echelon. We're stuck in that crowd right now in the middle. So I expect to win all around for the men and women. What about you, Jenna?
I'm going to go with a Colonel W all the way through, girls and boys. I mean, this weekend's a it's a really big weekend for sports at EKU because Sunday is baseball and softball fan day. So we'll be kicking that season off real soon.
Yep.
So I think we'll start Saturday off with 2 W's and then roll into a great fan day on Sunday.
Yeah. We'll have to talk more about next episode. We'll have to dive more into baseball and softball. And then kind of talk about Mike Smith Jr. We'll talk about this more next week. Just got done at the East-West Shrine Bowl, competing with some of the top players in college football. And he played, I think, about almost the entire game. So it was really impressive for EK football weekend as well. So, Joey, we'll kind of move into your predictions here for this weekend. What are you kind of looking at this weekend? Then are you planning to attend any of the games?
I, first off, will try to attend the games. I am not sure if I will because I have one 5-hour assignment I was told I should get done in one sitting. So that'll definitely be a priority. But I could see I'm hoping everyone wins for EKU. I could see it being a high possibility as well with them coming off of the wins they recently had.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we will talk more about it, but next week. But like I just said, Mike Smith Jr. just got done at the East West Shrine Bowl. So hopefully we'll get to talk more about that next week. And then we will touch on more baseball and softball fan day expectations. Maddie Rattan coming back for softball. She was just named preseason pitcher of the year. So we'll talk more about that next week. You guys have anything else to add before we hop off here?
No.
All right, guys. Well, we will see everybody next week, hopefully in studio. If not, we'll be right back on Zoom. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.